Hello everybody, Teri back again with another video. Yeah guys, today's video is gonna be about, of course, to previewing this Masters 2000 final in Paris later today between Daniil Medvedev versus Alexander Sasha Zverev, who both of these two guys has really done great achievements and won their match really in an impressive way. I think that both of these two guys have dropped one set each. If I'm not mistaken, correct me down below if I'm wrong. Daniil Medvedev lost his only set against Diminaur, and Alexander Sasha Zverev lost his only set against Manarino. Yes, it was against Manarino. And they are both through to the final later today. But before I go into that preview, who I believe will win that match, I will just want to talk a little about the first semifinals we saw yesterday. First of all, I want to start with Raonic versus Daniil Medvedev. A really clinical performance from Daniil Medvedev. Huge serving. He landed a lot of first serves in. I believe he did 73% first serves in. He's a big, tall guy, Daniil Medvedev, and he has a pretty decent, good serve when he lands it, because he doesn't always have over 70% first serves in. But he had that against Raonic, and when he puts his serve in, you cannot. His serve will be very. He will almost be more or less unbreakable, which he almost was. Raonic braked his serve only in the later stages of the match, towards the late of that second set, when Daniil Medvedev was serving for the final, and then Raonic, at the end of the match, he braked back and took that second set to tiebreak. But eventually in the tiebreak, Daniil was just too consistent, too solid, too sharp, and won that second set tiebreak 7-4. Raonic, which I previewed that he will go to the final. I said that from the bottom section of the draw, when I did my preview 1 week ago, you guys who have seen it, I said that who will make it to the final from the bottom section of the draw, and I was mentioning 5 names: Khachanov, Schwartzman, Raonic, Tsitsipas, and Medvedev. And I just Khachanov and Diego, I just threw them out from the window because I knew that they will never make it to the final. And my pick was between these 3: Tsitsipas, Medvedev, or Raonic. And I said that I believe Raonic will do it with that big serve and big forehand, but it is not impossible for Tsitsipas or Medvedev doing that as well. But my pick was Raonic, and Raonic almost did it, but he lost in the semifinal. I'm not at all surprised that Raonic Raonic lost, because he has never defeated Medvedev before, actually, and he didn't do that yesterday either. Raonic's problem is his baseline game. He's not that super great off the ground, guys. He has a huge first serve, he has a great second serve, he has a great forehand, but his backhand is not super great, super consistent. His baseline game is not super consistent. Why do you think Raonic only won 29% of his second serves? Because he has a bad second serve? No, this second serve stat is misleading people. It is not because of that. He has great second serve. It is because his second serve is much more returnable. You can return his second serve. And when you return his second serve, what do you think happens? You take the dude into the rallies. And in the rallies, he doesn't have the greatest shot tolerance. He cannot keep the unforced errors down. You will wear him down. You will outduel him from baseline, and which Medvedev did. And that was the biggest key of the match. The biggest key of the match was, where was Medvedev much better than Raonic? Where? Serving? No. Returning? Not much better, but better. Of course, better, but not much better. The biggest difference in the match was on the baseline rallies. There was, in that department, Medvedev was superior and Raonic was really weak, because that's why he only won 29% of his second serves, because in the second serves, Medvedev could take his teeth into the rallies and wear Raonic down from the back of the court, off the ground. Because Raonic didn't do a horrible match. He did, but Medvedev was better. Medvedev was just cleaner, more consistent from the baseline, and that's why he won. Raonic didn't see any single break point in the first set. Medvedev was just clinical, performing serves, really served really good, and doing great, and playing really good tennis on the 0-4 shots in that first set. And Raonic couldn't see any break point opportunity in the first set. And Medvedev had only 2 opportunities in the first set of breaking serves, and he braked in one of them. He was 50% of breaking conversions in the first set. And Raonic, that of course, Medvedev couldn't serve that huge in the second set as he did in the first set. So Medvedev, first percent of first serves, they started to come down little in the second set. And Raonic had chances to take his teeth more into Medvedev serves in the second set. Raonic had actually 7 breakpoint opportunities in the second set, and he converted it only 1. So he was not super efficient there. All in all, Medvedev was a better player. Where was he much better? From the ground, from the baseline. There was where Medvedev hurt Raonic big time. Raonic, for me, is a kind of version of John Isner, but faster. That's what it is. That's why he has only won 8 titles, I believe. Because he has the serve. Yeah, what is the most important things in tennis, in my opinion? It is 3 things. What is the most important things in tennis? Serve, which Raonic has. Return, which Raonic doesn't have. Baseline game, which Raonic doesn't have. And that's why Raonic has only won 8 titles during his career. And he will probably win. As most, I can see Raonic as most win 10 titles during his career. I never think Raonic will be a player that will win 15 titles during his career. Just because he has only the serve. That's basically it, and the forehand. He doesn't have the backhand, he doesn't have the returns, he doesn't have the shot tolerance from the baseline. I thought that maybe Raonic will go to that final because Medvedev has not been super great this year. He has done a solid year. He has played a semi-final in the US Open, Medvedev. But to compare Medvedev what he did last year, where he won 4 titles last year and played 9 finals, it is 2 different worlds really. So Medvedev was, Medvedev has not done an amazing year this year, especially not as good as he did last year, because we all know last year he was just impeccable, really. He was Medvedev's last year, 2019, is his best year so far during his young career. Let's see if he can do a better year than 2019. For sure, he has not done that in 2020. Let's see what happens in the future. All in all, Medvedev was a better player than Raonic, more consistent player, more solid player, and he took his opportunities. So that was the first semi-final. Then the second semi-final between Rafael Nadal and Medvedev won 6-4, 7-6. Then the second semi-final between Rafael Nadal and Sasha Zverev. Look, guys, I knew that Rafael Nadal outside clay is a much more vulnerable Rafael Nadal. It is not any coincidence whatsoever why Rafael Nadal has won 60 clay court titles and 26 titles outside clay. So that is a proof. It is not any coincidence why Rafa has won 13 French Opens and 7 Grand Slam titles outside French Opens. So that is a proof to you, to me, and to the entire world that Rafael Nadal is much more vulnerable outside clay. But I'm gonna put in a but here, and that but is that doesn't mean Nadal is a clay doll. Like I read in a lot of comments in the different social medias, Rafa is only good on clay. Rafa is only dangerous on clay. That is not true. How many players? Just think about it. How many players wins 26 tournaments during a tennis career? How many? Did Davydenko do it with 21? a good player like Davydenko, who had a solid tennis career, who won over 20 tournaments, tennis tournaments during his career. He won 21, I believe. Did he win 26 tournaments? David Ferrer, do you know how many tournaments he won? Who had a great career, David Ferrer, who is, by the way, the coach of Sasha Zverev at the current moment. 27 tournaments, I believe, David Ferrer won. All surfaces counting here. So Rafa has won 26 tournaments outside clay. So that doesn't mean that he is only good on clay. That doesn't mean that you can call him clay Nadal. But what is the important here to say is that Rafa is so tremendous good on clay. Rafa is so tremendous dangerous on clay. Rafa is so unbelievable good on clay that people, they look down his achievements outside clay. The dude is not as good outside clay as clay. Yeah, we know that. We have known this in 15 years. Not today. Not in 2020. This is not any new news. He is as best on clay. And it is not any surprise. If you look at Rafa's assets, if you look at Rafa's aspects of the game, if you look at Rafa's strengths, what are Rafa's strengths? Man, I've talked about this so many times, I need to talk about it again. What is Rafa's strengths? His defensive skills. Rafa is not Roger Federer. Rafa is not a super aggressive tennis player. Look guys, tennis players, they have all kind of aspects of the game. You have the pushers. You have the counter punchers. You have the consistency machines. You have the attacking tennis players. Federer is the attacking tennis player. Rafa is a consistency machine. Murray is a pusher between a pusher and a consistent machine. Not a machine. Murray is not a consistent machine. But he is between a pusher and a counter puncher, I should say, Murray. Djokovic, he's not an attacking tennis player, that's for sure. Djokovic is between a counter puncher and attacking tennis player. He's a between from this. He's not a pure attacking tennis player like Federer. And he's not pure consistent tennis player like Nadal. He's between attacking tennis player and a counterpuncher, Djokovic. So, and Nadal, he is a consistent. He isn't a player who will take a huge amount of risks when he plays tennis. He will not kiss the line with his ground strokes. And what do I want to say with all this? And when Rafa plays clay court tennis with these kind of aspects, not taking huge risks, playing with huge shot tolerance, playing tennis with not try to miss, playing tennis with intensity from the baseline, and put every single ball into play, he will. And on top of all this, being a super great mover where you cannot hit through him in slow surfaces like clay is. Clay is the slow surface we have in tennis. Of course, you will be more or less invincible on clay. Of course. Because he has the shot tolerance. He has the deadly consistency from the baseline. He will not take huge amount of risks. He will not kiss the lines. And he's a really good mover. Well, what will you get from all this on a slow surface like clay? What will you get? You will get Rafael Nadal. But when you take all these things, like I said, you don't take huge, big cuts on the ball. You will not be super aggressive. You cannot have the defensive skills. You cannot defense as good as you do on clay, outside clay. All great things that Rafa possesses on clay, all of these things, they get much weaker outside clay. They get much weaker. You can hit through him easier. He cannot be shot tolerant as easy outside clay because the ball goes faster. The conditions are faster. His topspin doesn't generate as good outside clay as it does on clay. So everything, Rafa, and even his forehand, guys, trust me, even his forehand is not as efficient outside clay as it is on clay. His forehand it's too much spin. I love Rafa's forehand. Rafa's forehand is the greatest forehand of all time on clay. Is the greatest forehand of all time on clay. But when it is outside clay, it is not the greatest forehand of all time outside clay. It's too much spin. He gives his opponent too much time. And that was exactly what happened against Zverev yesterday. Zverev is a big dude. Rafa's forehand, they were landing on Zverev's strike zone. They were landing on Zverev's strike zone. And Zverev was hammering that ball. 37 winners. And only 17 unforced errors. And serving 72% first serves in. When you serve that kind of many first serves in, on a fast surface like indoors, hard court it is, you have a huge chance of winning. You will have, because Rafa couldn't read his serve whatsoever, especially the first set. Rafa didn't see any single breakpoint opportunity in the first set. Any single breakpoint opportunity. Zverev was untouchable in that first set, in serving. He served, in the first set, I believe Zverev served 78% first serves. 78! Do you think that you will have a chance then? Rafa, on the other hand, he served only 60% first serves in the first set. And Rafa won, and Zverev won the first set 6-4. The reason why Rafa still is in the match, the reason why Rafa still doesn't lose 6-1, 6-2, or 6-3, it is only one break there. It is only one break. It's not like Zverev breaked Rafa serve 2 or 3 times in the first set. It is because Rafa is so damn consistent. He doesn't give many free points away. He's solid. You know, I've talked about this before. Nobody in the tennis history as consistent, as solid as Rafa Nadal is. He is into the match in all points. He never disappears. And that's why the first set was not a straightforward for Zverev. 6-4. 6-4. Rafa did a sloppy game in the beginning of the first set and was braked. And it was straightforward after that for Zverev. Rafa didn't see any single breakpoint opportunity in the first set. And Zverev won 6-4. A really good performance from Zverev in the entire match. And the other key to beat Rafa, not only outside clay, even on clay, is to have that high level consistently throughout the match. Throughout the match. And it is easier said than done. And it is much easier doing that outside clay. Because outside clay, you get rewarded with your serve, with your forehand, with your aggressive style, with your net play, with your chip and charge, you name it. It is easier executing that kind of gameplay in outside clay than doing on clay. On clay, it requires so much from you. So much. That's why, look how Zverev did defeat Nadal back in 2009 French Open. He was good from the first to the last point. He cracked 60 winners. You know that? In that match? Zverev, 60 winners. That is a lot of winners to fire against Nadal in a slow surface like clay, which Schöderling did in 2009. Same with Djokovic in 2015 when he defeated Nadal in French Open. Djokovic did 45 winners that match. You know that? 45 winners. To do that kind of many winners on clay in a 5-set match against Nadal, then you must have done an amazing match. So it is much harder to doing that on clay in over 5 sets. But outside clay in 3 sets, it is much easier, which Zverev did. Zverev had a letdown in the middle of the second set where Rafa braked him in that 8th game in the second set, 4-4. But that letdown was not long. It was 5 minutes as max. Then Zverev geared up his level again in the 4-5 game when Rafa won the 10th game to 5-5, and then Zverev braked Rafa's serve to 6-5, and then Zverev eventually served out the match 7-5. All in all, Zverev won the second set 7-5 and won the match 6-4, 7-5. An amazing performance from Zverev, a clinical performance from Zverev. Rafa didn't do a bad match, but he did some crucial mistakes in crucial moments, and that cost the match for him in the end. He did a sloppy game, like I said in the beginning of the first set, and then he did crucial, huge mistakes with his cross-court backhand in the second set, where Zverev braked him for in the 6-5 game, which Rafa cannot afford, especially not against a super solid player like Zverev, like he was yesterday. And Zverev did a great match, really. Like I said, 37 winners, only 17 unforced errors. He does 20 more winners than unforced errors. As Rafa, on the other hand, he does 18 winners and only 18 unforced errors as well. So Rafa is not doing a bad match, but it is always like this with Rafa. He doesn't do a lot of unforced errors. But if he wants to win, he needs to be more aggressive. He needs to hit his forehand more flatter. Hitting topspin forehand works on clay, but it doesn't always work outside clay, because he gives his opponent so much time with that topspin, especially big dudes like Zverev. He had already troubles against PCB and against Lopez, but they are not as big as Zverev. Rafa's huge topspin will not land on Lopez and on PCB's strike zone, which they did against Zverev. And Zverev, he's in good shape at the current moment. He has won 2 titles. He's in a 12 winning streak matches, won 2 tournaments back-to-back in Germany. And Zverev, he has improved the last couple of months. He has improved with David Ferrer as his coach. He did only 1 double fault yesterday at 13 aces. So Zverev has improved. He has been more consistent. And Rafa cannot hit. He needs to be more aggressive. Rafa plays outside clay like he plays on clay. That doesn't always work. It works on clay, but he needs to hit flatter. He needs to be more aggressive with his forehand, especially. With his forehand, I love Rafa's forehand. It is the greatest forehand of all time on clay, but it is not the greatest forehand of all time outside clay. That is my opinion. All in all, a very deserving winner from Alexander Sasha Zverev, 6-4, 7-5. A clinical performance from Zverev. Rafa, he braked Zverev's serve only 1 time. That was on the second set. It was in that game that Zverev put up his only double fault, in that game that Rafa braked. And now we go ahead to the final that we have later today between Daniil Medvedev and Alexander Zverev. I will not be very long with this prediction because this video is already too long. Look, I already said last week, when I did my preview of this Paris Masters 1000 tournament, that I believe that the winner will be from the top section of the draw, and that winner will be Nadal, Zverev, or Rublev. My pick was Nadal, but I had Zverev and Rublev there as well as potential winners. Medvedev has not played the final since Shanghai last year, actually, where he actually defeated this player that he will face later today, Alexander Sasha Zverev. Medvedev has not been deadly consistent over 12 months. And now he's playing his first final, but in over 12 months, Daniil Medvedev. But Medvedev will have his chance, absolutely. If he plays as good as he did against Raonic, as high percentage of first serves like he did against Raonic. Like I said, he served 73% first serves in against Raonic and won 80% behind those first serves. 80%. Sasha also served really great against Nadal. 72% first serves in and won 29% behind those first serves. So and Sasha has improved his second serves stats. He won 53% behind his second serves against Nadal, and Medvedev also won 53% behind his second serves against Raonic. This will be a tight match. It can go either way. It is the world number 5, Daniil Medvedev, versus the world number 7, Sasha Zverev. So of course this match can go either way. The head-to-head is 5-1 to Sasha Zverev. The only time that Medvedev defeated Sasha was, like I said, in that match in Shanghai 13-14 months ago or 12 months ago. But my pick will be Sasha. I just think that Sasha is a better player nowadays than he was 6 months ago, to say. He's a more consistent player. He's serving really good. He's winning a lot of behind his second serves, which is not what Sasha usually do. We all know that. And I should say that Sasha Zverev's serve is better than Medvedev's. Sasha has a great shot towards from the baseline. Look, this match can go either way. I think that Sasha will win in 3 sets. That is my prediction. I think that Sasha will win in 3 sets. How the sets will be, I don't have any idea. I think Medvedev can take 1 set maximum. Medvedev can win the match as well, but I will say Sasha 60% will be as the winner. Medvedev will be 40% as the winner. I just feel that Sasha will take it to Medvedev and he will be too strong, too solid, and will be too good of a server. So I will say Sasha will win his 14th title and his 4th Master 1000 title in his career, and that is my prediction. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Take care and bye bye.